Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered why Pluto, once called the ninth planet, no longer holds that title? Imagine drifting past the planets, floating in the quiet darkness beyond Neptune, where a small, icy world orbits silently, almost hidden from view. Tonight, we'll explore the story of Pluto, not just its science, but the human curiosity, wonder, and debate that surround it. Let your body relax and your mind wander as we journey together through space and time. Picture the stars shimmering softly above, the planets gliding in their cosmic paths, and the distant, mysterious Pluto waiting patiently at the edge of our solar system. Before we set off, if you enjoy this journey, consider subscribing to The Thoughtful Night and sharing in the comments from wherever you are watching tonight. Your thoughts and your presence help make these quiet explorations even more meaningful. Tonight, we will follow Pluto from its discovery in 1930, through decades of curiosity and debate, to its reclassification as a dwarf planet, and finally, to the breathtaking images captured by New Horizons. As we drift through this story, allow yourself to sink deeper into calm, curiosity, and wonder. In the quiet nights of 1930, beneath a sky scattered with countless stars, a young astronomer named Clyde Tombaugh leaned over a telescope in the chilly plains of Kansas. He spent hour after hour, night after night, scanning the heavens with meticulous patience, tracing the faintest pinpricks of light across photographic plates. Each small speck might be a distant star, or perhaps something far more mysterious. The universe stretched endlessly above him, vast, silent, and inviting, as if whispering secrets to those who were willing to watch and wait. Tombaugh's discovery did not happen in a burst of sudden insight, but in the rhythm of careful observation, in the slow dance of images between nights. He compared one photograph to another, shifting between them with a blink, letting his eyes detect the subtle movement of a tiny point against the immobile background of distant stars. It was there, in the delicate shift, that he found what no one had seen before. A small, dim world quietly circling the sun at the edge of the known solar system. Pluto was unlike anything humans had imagined. Small, icy, and distant, it lay in the frigid darkness beyond Neptune, part of what would later be known as the Kuiper Belt, a vast region of frozen bodies orbiting the sun in the outermost reaches of our planetary neighborhood. At that moment, it appeared as a faint glimmer, a quiet spark in a universe too immense to grasp fully, yet full of wonder. Scientists celebrated, teachers incorporated it into textbooks, and the world marveled at this new addition to the planetary family. Yet, even as it captured attention, Pluto remained mysterious, its surface unseen, its secrets hidden under layers of ice and shadow. The early 20th century was a time when astronomy was both art and science. Telescopes were massive yet delicate instruments, capable of revealing the heavens in extraordinary detail. Star charts were studied by hand, each dot carefully plotted, each constellation memorized as a map of the cosmos. Observers like Tombaugh were explorers, not of oceans or continents, but of the invisible expanses of space, guided by nothing more than curiosity and the quiet determination to understand what lay beyond. Nights were long, often bitterly cold, but the excitement of discovery warmed their spirits. Pluto's orbit was strange, elliptical, and distant. It took 248 Earth years to circle the sun once, moving so slowly that its motion was almost imperceptible over weeks or months. As Tombaugh traced its path, he must have felt both the thrill of understanding and the humbling realization of the universe's immensity. In that slow, measured motion, Pluto seemed almost alive, a solitary traveler navigating the outer limits of our solar neighborhood, far from the sun's warmth, in a place where silence reigned supreme. The discovery of Pluto was more than just a scientific milestone. It was a reflection of human curiosity, a reminder that even in the darkest, most remote corners of space, there is something waiting to be found. There is a quiet beauty in knowing that our small, fragile planet is not the only home for mystery and wonder. Out there, among the frozen shadows, worlds drift silently, each carrying stories older than any human memory. Pluto became the emblem of those stories, a symbol of our desire to reach beyond ourselves, to measure the immeasurable, and to connect with the infinite. In the years following its discovery, Pluto inspired imagination as much as calculation. Artists painted its icy plains with sweeping brushes of white and blue. Writers described its lonely orbit with poetic reverence, and children dreamt of it as a distant friend in the sky. Scientists speculated about its composition, its moons, and its place in the solar hierarchy. Yet, in every depiction, there was a consistent sense of quiet wonder, a recognition that, small as it was, Pluto mattered, not for its size, but for the human impulse it represented, the search for understanding in a vast, mysterious cosmos. Even as telescopes improved and new techniques allowed astronomers to study Pluto more closely, the planet retained its elusive charm. Images were faint, details scarce, yet the imagination filled in the gaps, giving Pluto peaks, valleys, and perhaps even storms of crystalline ice drifting under a distant, cold sun. One could picture drifting beyond Neptune, past the giant gas planets, past the silent expanse of the Kuiper Belt, and arriving at Pluto's frozen, heart-shaped plains, where time moves slowly and the light of the sun is dim but persistent. Clyde Tombaugh's Patient Nights remind us that discovery is a gentle, persistent act. It is not always dramatic or loud, but it carries the quiet triumph of human curiosity. In finding Pluto, he extended the reach of human knowledge a little further into the unknown, inviting generations to look up, wonder, and imagine. That small, distant speck continues to inspire awe, teaching us that even the farthest, coldest corners of space can ignite the warmth of fascination in the human heart. As you listen, let your mind drift alongside Pluto, gliding slowly in its distant orbit, surrounded by the quiet darkness of space. Feel the gentle pull of its path around the sun, the icy surface reflecting distant starlight, and the calm of a universe filled with secrets yet to be uncovered. In this moment, Pluto is not just a planet, or a dwarf planet, or a point on a chart. It is a companion in the night, a beacon of curiosity, and a reminder of the beauty that waits for those willing to look, observe, and dream. Long after its discovery, Pluto settled into the quiet corners of our imagination, far beyond the reach of our sun's warmth, yet close enough to become a cherished member of our planetary family. For generations, it was the ninth planet, the final dot in the chain of worlds circling our star. Children memorized its name alongside Mercury, Venus, Earth, and the others, reciting it in classrooms with wonder and pride. It was distant and small, yet in its quiet way, Pluto seemed intimately familiar, a shy companion, orbiting steadily in the shadows, watching over the edge of our solar neighborhood. Pluto had a personality of its own, imagined by storytellers and nurtured in our minds. It was the small, shy, almost secretive member of a family of planets, quietly significant despite its size. Unlike the blazing giants or the luminous inner worlds, Pluto moved with a patient, deliberate grace, tracing a long, slow path around the sun. Its distance gave it an air of mystery, and its icy surface invited speculation, poetry, and art. In classrooms, libraries, and bedtime stories, Pluto became more than an astronomical object. It became a symbol of perseverance, of quiet dignity in a universe that often celebrates only the obvious and the visible. The dwarf planet's moons added depth to its story, each companion a note in a soft, cosmic melody. Charon, almost twin in size, seemed locked in an eternal embrace with its parent, circling in perfect harmony. Nyx, Hydra, Kerberos, and Styx danced in smaller, intricate paths, their orbits choreographed by invisible gravitational threads. Together, they formed a family unlike any we could see directly, a delicate celestial network that mirrored the connections we cherish in our own lives. As we imagine these moons revolving around Pluto, there is a subtle lesson in observation and patience. Even distant worlds are not truly alone, and even the quietest presences hold companions, influence, and beauty. Pluto's story is also a story of how humans assign meaning to the universe. We give names, create myths, and imagine personalities because it helps us feel closer to what is far away. In a sense, our hearts orbit the planets as faithfully as the planets orbit the sun, weaving connections between what is tangible and what is imagined. Pluto's appeal lies in this intimacy. We project onto it our curiosity, our longing, and our fascination with the unknown. It becomes a friend at the edges of our understanding, reminding us that even the smallest worlds deserve attention, respect, and wonder. The icy plains of Pluto, hidden from the naked eye, have sparked the imagination of countless artists and writers. In the mind's eye, one can wander across frost-kissed valleys, trace the contours of distant mountains, and gaze upon the soft glimmer of its moons reflected in the weak sunlight. Its elliptical orbit carries it closer to the sun and then far away again, creating a rhythm almost like a heartbeat, a slow, steady pulse in the silent expanse beyond Neptune. This rhythm invites meditation, a gentle surrender to the scale and pace of the cosmos. Listening to it, one might feel a quiet companionship with the universe itself, a sense that distance does not diminish significance. Even as the scientific community debated Pluto's status, the public continued to embrace it. Newspapers, magazines, and textbooks celebrated the ninth planet, portraying it with both curiosity and affection. It became a quiet cultural icon, embodying the beauty of being on the edge, of inhabiting a space where mystery and knowledge intertwine. Children painted it in blues and whites, writers described it as lonely or heroic, and astronomers speculated about hidden mountains, valleys, and icy plains. In every representation, there was a recognition of its special place in our collective imagination, a reminder that scientific objects can carry emotional resonance. Pluto's moons further humanized it. Charon's gravitational dance spoke of balance and companionship, while the smaller moons added layers of complexity and harmony. Imagining them in orbit, one could feel a sense of relational poetry, a lesson in the quiet beauty of coexistence. Just as human families have connections, routines, and rhythms, so too do these distant worlds, silently following paths dictated by gravity and time. In this, Pluto teaches patience, reverence, and the subtle artistry of movement, a cosmic meditation for those willing to watch and imagine. Even in its smallest details, Pluto inspires reflection. Its icy surface, forever beyond direct observation until recent space missions, became a canvas for human thought. We projected our hopes, fears, and curiosity onto its frozen plains, creating stories and emotions where science had yet to reveal the truth. There is a gentle lesson in this. The universe allows us to dream as we study, to inhabit both knowledge and imagination simultaneously. In the quiet spaces beyond Neptune, our minds can wander freely, exploring the unseen and finding comfort in the distant. As you breathe, imagine drifting with Pluto, gliding slowly past Charon, Nix, and Hydra, feeling the calm of their orbits and the steady rhythm of this icy world. Let its quiet presence remind you that significance is not measured by size, brightness, or proximity, but by the connections and wonder it inspires. Pluto is small, distant, and elusive, but in our hearts, it is monumental, a silent companion in the night sky, carrying stories, dreams, and a gentle invitation to pause, reflect, and marvel at the universe's hidden corners. Beyond Neptune, the solar system stretches into a realm of icy shadows, where small, dim worlds drift in silence. As telescopes improved and technology allowed astronomers to peer further into this distant expanse, a new truth emerged. Pluto was not alone. Other icy bodies, some nearly as large, others even more massive, orbited quietly in the cold reaches of space. The Kuiper Belt, once only theorized, began to reveal itself as a vast, crowded neighborhood of mysterious objects, each tracing a slow, elliptical path around the sun. With these discoveries came questions. If Pluto was merely one among many similar objects, could it still hold the title of a planet? What did it mean really to be a planet? The term, once straightforward in the minds of schoolchildren and scientists alike, suddenly demanded clarity. For decades, textbooks had counted 9 planets, from Mercury's scorching surface to Neptune's stormy clouds, with Pluto as the distant, icy ninth. Now, the definition itself was under scrutiny, challenged by the expanding frontier of knowledge and the revelation of a more complex cosmic architecture. Astronomers began to debate quietly at first, exchanging papers, observations, and calculations. Some argued that size and orbital dominance mattered, while others pointed to historical precedent and cultural recognition. Pluto, small and far away, seemed to straddle two worlds. Scientifically, it was similar to the other newly discovered Kuiper Belt objects. Emotionally, it remained the ninth planet in hearts and minds. The tension between these perspectives reflected a broader human challenge. How do we adapt long-held concepts when new knowledge stretches our understanding? The Kuiper Belt itself is a poetic place. Imagine drifting past Neptune and Uranus, past the frozen giants of our solar family, and entering a silent, icy expanse where each small body carries the history of the early solar system. These objects are remnants, ancient witnesses to the formation of planets, quietly orbiting the sun for billions of years. Observing them is like listening to the echoes of creation, where every tiny orbit speaks of time, gravity, and cosmic balance. Pluto, once unique, was suddenly revealed to be part of a larger story, a participant in a hidden community of distant worlds. This revelation did not arrive with fanfare. Scientists approached it with the same quiet diligence that had characterized the discovery of Pluto itself. Measurements were repeated, distances calculated, and compositions inferred. Observatories across the world contributed data, carefully documenting the motion of each object, its size, its reflectivity, and its orbit. Slowly, a picture emerged. Pluto was not extraordinary in mass or orbit relative to its neighbors. Its eccentric path, long period, and small size set it apart from the 8 classical planets. Yet, in every calculation, Pluto retained its charm, its poetic position at the edge of the known. As debate intensified, public fascination grew. Newspapers reported on the possibility that Pluto might no longer be considered a planet, sparking both curiosity and controversy. Children who had learned the 9 planets in school felt a quiet sense of loss, while scientists embraced the evolving definition as a triumph of understanding. This tension between emotional attachment and scientific reasoning mirrored Pluto's own dual nature. Small and distant, yet profoundly significant. In that space between observation and imagination, the debate became not just about classification, but about how humans relate to the universe and the objects within it. The process of defining a planet slowly took shape over years. Scientists considered mass, orbital influence, and the ability to clear surrounding space of debris. They examined the orbits of the newly discovered Kuiper Belt objects, comparing them to Pluto's. Some suggested that perhaps Pluto should retain its planetary status for historical reasons, honoring its long-held place in our collective imagination. Others argued that science demanded precision, that understanding required adaptation, and that the cosmos did not bend to sentiment. Amid these discussions, Pluto remained unchanging in its quiet orbit. It traveled farther from the sun, gliding past Charon and the smaller moons that accompanied it. Its icy surface reflected the distant sunlight in muted glimmers, unconcerned with human debates. And in that consistency lay a subtle meditation. Knowledge and discovery are iterative, shaped by observation and reasoning, while the universe itself moves according to its own laws. Pluto became a teacher, demonstrating patience, endurance, and the humility required to accept evolving perspectives. The story of the planetary debate is also a story of scale and perspective. From Earth, Pluto seems small, almost insignificant. Yet, in the context of the Kuiper Belt, it is a large and notable presence. The question of its planetary status is not just a matter of size or orbit. It is a reflection of how humans categorize, how we assign importance, and how we strive to understand a universe that is far vaster than our intuition allows. Pluto's orbit is slow, deliberate, a rhythm that mirrors the careful, thoughtful pace of scientific inquiry itself. Even as controversy raged, the debate had its beauty. It was a reminder that science is not static. It evolves as new information emerges. Observers must be willing to question assumptions, reconsider definitions, and embrace complexity. In the quiet nights when astronomers peer through their telescopes, charting the movements of faint, distant points of light, there is a meditative quality to the work. Each calculation, each observation, is an act of connection with the cosmos. And Pluto, drifting silently in its distant orbit, stands as a symbol of both mystery and discovery, inviting us to wonder, reflect, and learn. As you imagine this debate unfolding under the stars, picture the distant icy worlds slowly orbiting the sun, their paths tracing invisible lines of connection and influence. Listen to the quiet rhythm of the Kuiper Belt, where Pluto moves alongside companions and peers alike. Let this moment remind you that knowledge grows gently, like light spreading over the surface of an unseen landscape, and that even when definitions change, curiosity endures. Pluto's story, shaped by discovery, observation, and debate, becomes part of our shared meditation on the vast, intricate cosmos we inhabit. By the early years of the 21st century, the solar system had grown more complex in human understanding than ever before. Astronomers peered into the outer reaches, discovering countless small, icy worlds beyond Neptune. Each discovery challenged long-held notions, and Pluto, once comfortably the ninth planet, found itself at the center of a quiet revolution. The need for clarity became apparent. Science required a definition that could distinguish between the 8 classical planets and the multitude of distant, wandering objects now revealed. In 2006, the International Astronomical Union, known as the IAU, convened in Prague to address this question. Delegates from around the world gathered in conference halls, discussing, debating, and deliberating, aware that their words might reshape the way generations understood the solar system. They sought a definition both precise and universal, a framework capable of guiding astronomers into the future without erasing the poetry of planetary wonder. Their task was not only scientific, it was profoundly philosophical, bridging knowledge, tradition, and human perception. The IAU eventually proposed 3 criteria for a celestial body to earn the title of planet. First, it must orbit the sun, a condition Pluto satisfies easily, gracefully tracing its long elliptical path in the far reaches of the solar system. Second, it must have sufficient mass for gravity to shape it into a near-spherical form, a standard Pluto also meets. The third condition, however, proved decisive. A planet must have cleared its orbital neighborhood of other debris, asserting dominance over its path around the sun. It was here that Pluto fell short. Its orbit intersects with other Kuiper Belt objects, sharing space with countless icy bodies, its path crowded and contested. The decision was not simply a scientific judgment. It carried emotional weight. Pluto had been our 9th planet for 76 years, a distant companion familiar to generations of stargazers, students, and dreamers. To reclassify it was to alter a cherished narrative, challenging the emotional connection between humans and the night sky. Newspapers and television stations carried stories of disappointment, curiosity, and debate. In classrooms, children asked why the planet they had learned about with reverence was no longer counted among the 8. And yet, scientists viewed the redefinition as a necessary step, a reflection of our growing understanding and the humility required to adapt when knowledge evolves. Pluto's demotion, as some called it, was not a diminishment of its beauty or significance. In fact, the IAU also recognized a new category, dwarf planets, where Pluto found its home. The term allowed for precision without erasing wonder. Pluto remained a world of icy plains, distant moons, and a heart-shaped region known as Tombaugh Regio, honoring the astronomer who discovered it. In this reclassification, there is a subtle lesson. Names and labels matter to humans, but they do not constrain the inherent majesty of a celestial body. Pluto continues to orbit the sun in its slow, deliberate rhythm, indifferent to the categories imposed upon it. The IAU decision illustrates the interplay between observation and imagination. While numbers, orbits, and gravitational calculations form the backbone of the ruling, the human heart also participates. We measure, define, and classify, yet we also dream, imagine, and connect. Pluto embodies this tension, a distant icy world whose significance transcends its physical size. In its orbit, we can find a meditation on humility. The cosmos is vast, and our definitions are but temporary scaffolding, to be revised as our understanding grows. Emotions surrounding Pluto's reclassification were diverse. Some mourned, viewing it as a loss, a a small world stripped of its planetary title. Others celebrated, recognizing that science thrives on clarity, that knowledge progresses when assumptions are questioned, and that exploration often challenges tradition. Yet, in every reaction, there was a shared acknowledgement of Pluto's enduring charm. Its icy surface, its solitary orbit, and its moons, Charon, Nix, Hydra, Kerberos, and Styx, continue to inspire curiosity, even as its classification shifted. The debate also revealed something essential about human nature. We seek order in the cosmos, a way to categorize and understand, yet we also crave stories, symbols, and companions. Pluto straddled both realms. Scientifically, it is a dwarf planet. Emotionally, it remains the ninth, a steadfast presence at the edge of our solar system. Its orbit reminds us that significance is not determined solely by status or name. Even a small, distant world can hold profound meaning, guiding imagination and inviting contemplation. Consider the three criteria again slowly, meditatively. Orbit the sun, achieve spherical shape. Clear your path. Each is precise, elegant, and rooted in observation. Yet together they tell a story not just of physics, but of human striving. To understand the cosmos, to bring order to the vast unknown, and to reconcile the tension between discovery and tradition. In this light, the IAU decision is less a verdict than a reflection of the ongoing dance between knowledge and wonder. Pluto's orbit, eccentric and elongated, sometimes closer to the sun than Neptune, sometimes drifting far into the darkness, mirrors the fluctuating nature of perception itself. Our understanding of it has grown, shifted, and matured, much like the orbit of this small world. It carries a poetic resonance. Labels change, knowledge evolves, yet the intrinsic beauty of the cosmos remains untouched. The heart-shaped region, the icy plains, the tiny moons, all continue their slow, graceful journey, indifferent to human classification, reminding us that discovery is as much about patience as it is about understanding. As you imagine Pluto drifting silently in the Kuiper Belt, let your mind float with it, tracing its slow path beyond Neptune, past shadows of icy companions, along the edge of human comprehension. Picture the IAU deliberations as a gentle hum, a human attempt to touch order onto the vast, indifferent cosmos. And feel the lesson embedded in Pluto's orbit. Significance does not depend on labels, and wonder exists independently of classification. Even in exclusion from the official planetary list, Pluto remains luminous in our imagination, a distant beacon of curiosity, endurance, and quiet beauty. The story of Pluto and the IAU is, in essence, a meditation on humility. Knowledge evolves, definitions shift, yet the universe itself moves steadily, indifferent to the debates below. Pluto teaches patience, reverence, and the quiet joy of discovery. It reminds us that even when structures change, meaning endures. Its orbit carries on, its moons revolve, and the heart-shaped plains bask in distant sunlight, waiting for eyes and minds ready to explore, dream, and wonder. Even after its reclassification, Pluto continued its slow, deliberate journey around the sun, indifferent to the labels humans assigned. In 2006, when the International Astronomical Union introduced the category of dwarf planets, Pluto quietly found its new place among celestial peers. It was no longer the ninth planet in textbooks, but it remained a singular, icy world at the edge of our solar system, holding its dignity and quiet significance. This new identity, though scientific in nature, carried a poetic resonance. Pluto was not diminished. It was redefined, given a category that reflected its true nature, while preserving the sense of wonder it had inspired for decades. The term dwarf planet acknowledges the realities of cosmic diversity. These are worlds massive enough for gravity to mold them into spheres, yet not dominant enough to clear their orbital neighborhood. Pluto shares this classification with other distant objects. Eris, discovered in 2005, slightly smaller than Pluto. Haumea, with its elongated, spinning shape. Makemake, a small, icy world shimmering in distant sunlight. Each of these dwarf planets moves through the Kuiper Belt in quiet, elliptical orbits, companions in a distant cosmic dance. Their stories are intertwined, yet each retains individuality, a reminder that even the smallest and most distant bodies have character and significance. Pluto's orbit continues to tell its story. It is eccentric, inclined, and lengthy, taking 248 Earth years to complete one revolution around the Sun. Sometimes closer than Neptune, sometimes drifting far into the frozen darkness, it moves at a pace that feels almost contemplative. Its orbit is a meditation in motion, a rhythm that invites patience and reflection. For centuries, humans have looked up at the night sky, imagining these distant points of light as companions, mapping them, calculating their courses, and slowly unraveling the narrative of the solar system. Pluto, in its new identity, remains central to this unfolding story. Dwarf planet or not, Pluto's moons continue to orbit in a delicate, gravitational ballet. Charon, nearly half the size of Pluto itself, is locked in a synchronous embrace, always showing the same face to its parent. Nix, Hydra, Kerberos, and Styx trace smaller, faster paths, their movements choreographed with invisible precision. These moons, companions in solitude, add depth and dimension to Pluto's existence, demonstrating that even at the farthest reaches of the solar system, relationships and harmony endure. The slow, graceful arcs of these orbits reflect a quiet artistry, a cosmic rhythm that parallels human appreciation for balance, connection, and patience. Pluto's redefinition also invites reflection on scientific humility. The universe is vast, filled with objects of all sizes, shapes, and compositions, each obeying its own rules. Human classifications are provisional, evolving as knowledge expands. In this context, the creation of the dwarf planet category is not a loss for Pluto, but an acknowledgement of the complexity of the cosmos. It is an example of precision meeting reverence, a recognition that even distant, seemingly marginal worlds hold significance beyond mere measurements. Pluto's beauty and intrigue remain intact, framed now with clarity rather than assumption. This new identity also emphasizes perspective. Pluto may be small compared to the giant gas planets, yet in the quiet darkness of the Kuiper Belt, it is prominent and distinctive. Its icy plains, subtle variations in terrain, and heart-shaped Tombaugh Regio continue to captivate imaginations. The distant sun casts gentle, weak light over its surface, illuminating icy ridges, frozen valleys, and the slow movement of frost across ancient terrain. Even in its remoteness, Pluto demonstrates the profound beauty of contrast. Small but captivating, cold but luminous, distant yet emotionally resonant. The story of dwarf planets extends beyond classification. It is a meditation on diversity and inclusion in the cosmos. Just as ecosystems on Earth depend on a variety of forms and scales, the outer solar system reveals a spectrum of worlds, each contributing to the richness of our celestial neighborhood. Pluto, Eris, Haumea, Makemake, and countless smaller objects together form a complex tapestry, a reminder that prominence is not the sole measure of importance. Even the quietest, most distant participants in the cosmic dance have lessons to teach, stories to tell, and beauty to share. In observing Pluto today, one can appreciate its dual identity. It is both scientifically precise, a dwarf planet defined by rigorous criteria, and poetically evocative, a distant, icy companion inspiring curiosity, imagination, and wonder. Its orbit and its moons tell a story of patience and balance, while its surface invites contemplation of a world untouched by human hands, shaped only by gravity, time, and the faint warmth of a distant star. Pluto embodies a gentle lesson. Significance lies not in titles, but in presence, motion, and the quiet influence one can have on those who observe. As the sun rises and sets over its frozen plains, imagine drifting alongside Pluto. Feel the slow arc of its orbit, the pull of Charon's synchronized path, the distant shimmer of Nix and Hydra. Let your mind settle into the rhythm of this quiet world, moving with deliberate grace at the edge of the solar system. Its reclassification may have changed the textbooks, but it has not altered the wonder it inspires. Pluto remains a companion for those who look up at the night sky, a reminder of patience, curiosity, and the vast, intricate universe that surrounds us. Pluto's journey from ninth planet to dwarf planet is a reflection not of diminishment, but of understanding. In embracing its new category, humanity demonstrates the humility and adaptability required to navigate the cosmos. The universe does not conform to our expectations, yet it continues to offer endless opportunities for awe. Pluto teaches that small worlds can hold profound significance, that distant places can inspire intimate connection, and that redefinition is not loss, but an opening to deeper comprehension. As you drift in thought, envision Pluto moving through its long orbit, serene and purposeful. Picture its moons weaving their patterns, the icy plains shimmering faintly in the sun's distant light, and the quiet expanse of the Kuiper Belt stretching endlessly beyond. In this meditation, Pluto is both a lesson and a companion, inviting calm reflection, curiosity, and a sense of cosmic wonder. Its identity may have changed in human records, but in the imagination and in the universe itself, it remains enduringly, beautifully Pluto. For decades, Pluto remained a distant, icy world, glimpsed only as a faint point of light, its secrets hidden from telescopes on Earth. Humans could speculate, imagine, and calculate, but its surface and details remained beyond reach. Then, in 2006, a remarkable journey began. NASA launched the New Horizons spacecraft, a small, tireless traveler destined to cross the vast expanse of the solar system to meet Pluto up close. Its mission was ambitious, almost audacious. To leave the inner planets behind, to journey 9.5 years through the cold darkness, and to illuminate a world that had only been imagined until now. The voyage of New Horizons was a testament to human patience and ingenuity. It traveled millions of kilometers, passing Jupiter for a gravity assist that boosted its speed, gliding past asteroids and distant stars, all while maintaining a steady course toward the smallest, farthest world in the classical solar system. Each day, the spacecraft's instruments silently gathered data, its cameras and sensors peering into the unknown, sending whispers of information across the vast distance back to Earth. The journey itself became a meditation, a quiet demonstration of dedication, endurance, and the human desire to reach beyond the familiar. As New Horizons approached Pluto, anticipation grew in the scientific community and among the public alike. For the first time, humans would see this distant world not as a tiny speck in a telescope, but as a complex, textured planet with mountains, plains, and valleys sculpted by ice and time. In July 2015, the spacecraft made its closest approach. The images that arrived were breathtaking. Frozen mountains rose like jagged crystal peaks, plains stretched in vast, unbroken expanses, and the heart-shaped Tombaugh Regio glowed softly in the weak sunlight. Pluto had revealed itself, a distant world no longer shrouded in mystery, yet retaining all the charm and wonder that had captivated generations. New Horizons also revealed the intricate beauty of Pluto's moons. Charon, its largest companion, displayed cliffs, canyons, and evidence of geological activity, a world in its own right. Nix and Hydra shimmered with icy surfaces, their orbits weaving delicate paths around the central pair. Kerberos and Styx, smaller and fainter, moved in their silent, synchronized dance. Observing these moons was like listening to a symphony performed in slow motion, each orbit a note, each gravitational pull a subtle rhythm contributing to a cosmic composition. The data sent back by New Horizons transformed Pluto from an abstract point into a tangible, textured world. Its surface revealed signs of nitrogen glaciers, frozen plains, and methane ice, sculpted over billions of years. Craters and ridges told stories of impacts and geological change, a silent narrative etched into ice. Scientists, armed with these new images, studied, measured, and marveled. The spacecraft's observations reminded the world that discovery is not only about finding something new, but also about deepening our understanding of what has been silently present all along. There is a poetic rhythm to the journey of New Horizons. The spacecraft sped through the void, carrying instruments, hopes, and decades of human curiosity, while Pluto continued its slow, patient orbit around the sun. The juxtaposition is beautiful. A small, distant world, gliding in frozen solitude, being met by a tireless messenger from Earth. A reminder that exploration requires both persistence and humility. In this dance of distance and time, one can almost feel the heartbeat of human endeavor, echoing across the frozen reaches of space. The mission also emphasized patience. Signals from New Horizons took over 4 hours to reach Earth, traveling at the speed of light across nearly 5 billion kilometers. Scientists waited for images, measurements, and readings, each bit of data a gift, arriving slowly like a lullaby of discovery. In these long intervals, the mind has time to reflect, to imagine, and to absorb the scale and beauty of the cosmos. Pluto, distant and unchanging, offered a canvas for both science and meditation, a silent companion guiding the exploration of the unknown. As the spacecraft moved past Pluto, it revealed subtle variations in terrain, shadows stretching across icy plains, faint color differences hinting at chemical composition, and the interplay of light and shadow across distant mountains. These details, once unimaginable, now became part of human knowledge. Yet even as they informed understanding, they did not diminish the mystery. Pluto retained its quiet majesty, a distant world whose personality, icy, resilient, and solitary, remained intact. Its orbit continues, unconcerned with human observation, yet now illuminated by our gaze. The New Horizons mission also expanded the sense of scale and context. Beyond Pluto lies the Kuiper Belt, home to countless icy bodies, each tracing its own elliptical path. New Horizons reminded humanity that our solar system is far more complex and diverse than textbooks once suggested. Pluto, in this broader perspective, is both a member of a larger family and a unique world in its own right. Its journey from mystery to detailed observation embodies the beauty of scientific pursuit. Curiosity, patience, and perseverance converge to reveal worlds once beyond imagination. As you drift in thought tonight, imagine following New Horizons through the darkness, speeding past Jupiter's gravity, gliding over the empty spaces between distant stars, and finally arriving at Pluto. Picture the heart-shaped Tombaugh Regio glowing softly, icy mountains rising in pale sunlight, and Charon tracing its synchronized orbit. Let the quiet rhythm of the spacecraft's journey merge with the slow, deliberate motion of Pluto itself. Feel the sense of awe, the quiet wonder, and the calm patience required to reach this distant world. New Horizons transformed our understanding of Pluto, yet it also invited reflection. Discovery is a gentle, ongoing process, guided by curiosity and perseverance, and the universe reveals itself only to those who are willing to wait and observe. Pluto, in its silent orbit, continues to inspire, teaching us that exploration is as much about patience and reflection as it is about knowledge. It reminds us that even the smallest, most distant worlds have stories to tell, inviting calm, curiosity, and a profound appreciation for the vast, intricate cosmos. Pluto's orbit is far from solitary. Around it circle companions, each moving in a delicate, gravitational rhythm that feels almost choreographed. Charon, the largest and closest of Pluto's moons, is locked in a synchronous embrace with its parent, always presenting the same face, a celestial mirror reflecting motion and time. Nix, Hydra, Kerberos, and Styx trace smaller, swifter arcs, weaving invisible lines of connection across the darkness. Together, they form a quiet cosmic dance, a testament to the elegance inherent even in the most distant reaches of the solar system. Charon dominates the partnership. Its mass is nearly half that of Pluto, making their motion almost a duet rather than a parent and child relationship. As they orbit each other, a subtle gravitational balance creates a rhythm both predictable and mesmerizing. The orbit is slow, deliberate, a pulse in the silence beyond Neptune. Imagining their paths is like tracing music written in ice and darkness. Each revolution a note, each gravitational pull a soft beat. These motions unfold patiently, inviting reflection, calm, and quiet appreciation for the hidden artistry of the cosmos. The smaller moons add intricate counterpoints. Nix spins rapidly, its surface bright and reflective, catching faint sunlight as it traces its elliptical path. Hydra, more distant, moves with gentle grace, a quiet companion in the outer reaches of Pluto's domain. Kerberos and Styx, faint and fleeting, trace arcs that complete the ensemble, their orbits subtle, yet essential to the harmony of the system. Together, these moons form a celestial ballet, a choreography dictated by gravity, distance, and time, observed from Earth as faint points of light, yet holding intricate beauty beyond the telescope's lens. There is a poetic resonance in this orbital dance. Even in a remote and frigid corner of the solar system, relationships exist. Motion and connection are universal principles, evident from the largest planets to the smallest icy moons. Watching their paths, one is reminded of rhythm in nature, the steady cycles that shape life and matter, and the quiet patience required to sustain harmony. These moons, though small and distant, carry the weight of cosmic storytelling, demonstrating how connection persists even in solitude. Human imagination naturally anthropomorphizes this cosmic dance. Charon as a steadfast partner, Nyx and Hydra as playful companions, Kerberos and Styx as shy observers. These interpretations help us relate to the distant, unseen dynamics of Pluto's neighborhood. It is a gentle reminder that curiosity and wonder are as much a part of exploration as observation and measurement. While scientists calculate orbits, measure mass, and model tidal interactions, our minds drift alongside the moons, weaving narrative and emotion into the silent geometry of space. Tidal locking between Pluto and Charon offers a meditation in balance. Each rotation and revolution is synchronized, a cosmic embrace that has persisted for billions of years. This slow, deliberate motion reflects the patience of the universe, the quiet passage of time where forces act subtly yet persistently. It is a lesson in endurance, showing that even the smallest bodies can influence each other profoundly, and that harmony is built not in haste but through long, steady interaction. The moons also reveal subtle variations of character. Nyx, with its irregular shape and bright surface, suggests energy and playfulness. Hydra, smooth and distant, embodies calm and stability. Kerberos, tiny and faint, reflects quiet resilience. Styx, the most distant, moves with a gentle hesitation, almost like a whisper in the outer darkness. Each moon contributes to the overall dance, a reminder that diversity enriches patterns, and that even the smallest participants matter. Their orbits, though imperceptible to the naked eye, create a rhythm that mirrors the slow elegance of Pluto itself. As you imagine them tracing arcs in silence, consider the vastness around them. The empty space punctuated by distant stars, the Kuiper Belt extending beyond, and the faint sunlight illuminating icy plains. There is a soothing cadence in these motions, a gentle pattern in the apparent chaos of the cosmos. Observing it, whether physically or in imagination, encourages calm, reflection, and the quiet joy of understanding. This cosmic dance also invites contemplation of human relationships. Just as moons orbit a central world, humans orbit ideas, loved ones, and experiences, influenced subtly yet persistently by unseen forces. The gravitational choreography of Pluto's moons becomes a metaphor for patience, connection, and harmony. Each object maintains its individuality while contributing to the collective motion, a balance of freedom and influence that resonates both scientifically and poetically. Finally, let your mind drift with Pluto's companions. Picture Charon's steadfast rotation, Nyx's playful spins, Hydra's gentle sweep, Kerberos' faint whisper, and Styx's distant, delicate orbit. Imagine the icy surfaces reflecting pale sunlight, the shadows stretching across frozen plains, and the silent rhythm of gravity shaping motion over billions of years. In this quiet visualization, you can feel the serenity of distance, the elegance of pattern, and the gentle pulse of cosmic dance. Pluto's moons remind us that even in the farthest, coldest corners of the solar system, connection and movement persist, inviting wonder, meditation, and calm. When we look at the night sky, our eyes wander across a tapestry of stars, planets, and distant points of light, each carrying meaning we assign from Earth. The question, What is a planet? May seem simple at first, yet it quickly unfolds into a meditation on knowledge, perspective, and human imagination. Labels like planet are attempts to order the cosmos, to bring clarity to a universe that often resists simplicity. Pluto's journey from ninth planet to dwarf planet invites reflection on this delicate interplay between observation, definition, and wonder. Science seeks precision. A planet orbits the sun, achieves a spherical shape, and clears its orbital path. Yet these criteria, while elegant, also reveal the limits of human categorization. The universe itself does not require names, distinctions, or classifications. Stars shine, planets orbit, moons dance, and comets trace their arcs, all without regard for labels. Pluto reminds us that the cosmos is far larger and more intricate than our words, and that human definitions are only temporary tools for understanding, never the measure of intrinsic significance. Philosophical reflection on planets opens the mind to the evolving nature of knowledge. What we once accepted as truth, Pluto as the ninth planet, can shift as discoveries unfold. New objects in the Kuiper Belt, each small and distant, challenged assumptions that had endured for generations. The universe teaches humility. Understanding grows gradually, sometimes requiring us to reconsider what we thought immutable. Our definitions are provisional, a reflection of our current understanding, yet they cannot encompass the vast complexity of celestial mechanics, composition, or history. Planets, in this broader view, are more than physical bodies. They are symbols, touchstones for curiosity, imagination, and human connection to the cosmos. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, each evoke stories, science, mythology, and emotion. Pluto, once a planet and now a dwarf planet, embodies the tension between knowledge and sentiment. It represents both certainty and mystery, order and imagination. In contemplating its status, we contemplate our own ways of knowing, our desire to categorize, and our simultaneous longing for the poetic and ineffable. The idea of planetary classification also illustrates the interplay between universality and relativity. From Earth, we see the solar system arranged in elegant tiers, a model that brings understanding. But from another vantage point, these distinctions may seem arbitrary. The Kuiper Belt stretches into the darkness, home to countless icy worlds, some similar in size to Pluto, some smaller, each orbiting quietly and with purpose. The universe does not privilege one object over another. Significance is a human construct. Recognizing this invites a meditative detachment, a calm acceptance of cosmic perspective, and an appreciation for the hidden beauty in all corners of space. Pluto, in its quiet orbit, serves as a teacher. Its slow path beyond Neptune invites patience and reflection. It demonstrates that significance is not dependent on size, brightness, or popularity, but on persistence, uniqueness, and the capacity to inspire curiosity. Observing Pluto's journey encourages a broader view of the cosmos, one that values subtlety, complexity, and the poetic resonance of distant worlds. Even in reclassification, Pluto remains a guide to wonder, illustrating that meaning arises as much from contemplation as from empirical observation. Considering planets philosophically also allows for meditation on change and acceptance. Knowledge evolves, definitions shift, and perspectives adapt. What we once regarded as fixed, our 9 planets, can become provisional, replaced by more nuanced understanding. This does not diminish Pluto, nor does it diminish human curiosity. Instead, it deepens our relationship with the universe, reminding us that exploration is not only about certainty, but also about embracing the unknown with patience, humility, and awe. In reflecting on planets, one can also observe the patterns and connections that permeate the cosmos. Orbits trace invisible paths, moons dance around distant worlds, and gravitational forces orchestrate movements over billions of years. Each planet, moon, or dwarf planet participates in an intricate web, where distance, mass, and time weave harmony. These patterns are both scientific and poetic, a gentle rhythm that invites calm, a quiet music of the spheres that speaks to the mind and imagination simultaneously. As you imagine drifting among the planets, consider their vast diversity. Mercury's scorched surface, Venus's thick clouds, Earth's blue oceans, Mars's dusty plains, and beyond. The gas giants, ice giants, and dwarf planets, all moving with deliberate grace. Pluto glides quietly at the edge, reminding us that even small or distant participants contribute to the cosmic narrative. Its presence, regardless of classification, offers a meditation on continuity, resilience, and the beauty of subtle influence in the grand tapestry of space. Philosophically, Pluto also invites us to reconsider human perspectives on boundaries. What defines inclusion? What separates planets from dwarf planets, stars from brown dwarfs, or one object from another? The universe offers endless gray areas, challenging rigid thinking and inviting reflection. In accepting uncertainty, we find calm. In observing distant worlds, we find humility. In contemplating labels, we discover imagination. Pluto teaches that meaning is as much about engagement and reflection as it is about formal definition. As you lie in quiet thought, visualize Pluto drifting with its moons through the silent expanse, tracing slow arcs in the vast darkness. Let your mind wander through the Kuiper Belt, past icy companions, beyond Neptune's edge, and into a meditative awareness of the cosmos itself. Planets are more than classifications. They are invitations to wonder, to explore, and to rest in the gentle rhythm of the universe. In contemplating Pluto, we contemplate curiosity, imagination, and the enduring mystery that makes the night sky a place for both knowledge and dreams. Even as science measured, calculated, and classified Pluto, the human imagination continued to roam freely across its icy surface. In literature, art, and culture, Pluto took on a life beyond its physical form, becoming a symbol of the distant, the quiet, and the mysterious. From children's stories to science fiction, from classroom lessons to bedtime tales, Pluto inspired minds to wander, to explore the boundaries of possibility, and to find comfort in the unknown. Its image is one of a distant friend, small yet persistent, quietly holding its place in the tapestry of human wonder. Artists and writers found in Pluto a canvas for reflection. Illustrators imagined icy plains glowing under faint sunlight, mountains sculpted from frozen nitrogen, and the heart-shaped Tombaugh Regio glowing softly in the imagination's glow. Authors wrote stories where Pluto became a character, shy, distant, yet profoundly significant, a traveler in the shadows of the solar system, observing the dance of planets from afar. Each depiction reinforces the idea that the mind can reach further than telescopes, that imagination allows us to inhabit worlds we cannot touch, yet can vividly know. Even popular culture embraced Pluto's identity as the outsider. It became a reminder that significance is not always tied to size or proximity. In cartoons, films, and poetry, Pluto is often portrayed as small, quiet, and perhaps a little lonely, but never unimportant. Its distance adds charm, creating a sense of longing and reflection. In imagining Pluto, humans engage with ideas of exploration, empathy, and connection across vast distances. It is a gentle invitation to consider that even those on the edges of awareness, whether planets or people, can hold deep meaning. Children learned about Pluto as the ninth planet, a distant companion to Earth's own celestial neighborhood. Teachers described its slow orbit, its icy composition, and its tiny moons, planting seeds of curiosity and wonder. Even as textbooks changed, the memory of Pluto as a planet remained alive in hearts, a symbol of discovery, imagination, and resilience. In this way, Pluto transcends its physical classification, entering a realm where emotional resonance and scientific understanding meet in quiet harmony. The moons of Pluto also inspire poetic thought. Charon, locked in a synchronous orbit, represents fidelity and partnership. Nix, Hydra, Kerberos, and Styx weave a quiet rhythm around their central world, suggesting relationships, movement, and the beauty of companionship in even the most remote regions of space. In the human mind, these orbital dances become stories of friendship, loyalty, and subtle influence, illustrating that imagination can find narrative even in the precise mechanics of gravity. Pluto in imagination also embodies exploration. As the New Horizons mission revealed its icy mountains and heart-shaped plains, artists, writers, and dreamers interpreted these images through their own lenses. The spacecraft's data became inspiration for visualizations, for meditative reflection, and for stories that connect the distant solar system with human experience. Observing Pluto in imagination is a quiet act of companionship. We follow its orbit, we envision its surface, and we allow the mind to float among the frozen plains, tracing mountains and valleys with our thoughts. There is also a subtle emotional lesson in imagining Pluto. Its reclassification, while scientifically precise, did not diminish its presence in the collective consciousness. On the contrary, imagining Pluto allows humans to reconcile change, uncertainty, and adaptation. Its story becomes a meditation on resilience and significance. Even when definitions shift, meaning can endure. In envisioning Pluto, we cultivate patience, empathy, and curiosity, qualities essential for both science and personal reflection. The symbolic power of Pluto extends beyond its physical attributes. It represents the unseen, the overlooked, and the mysterious. Its distance mirrors the hidden corners of the mind and heart, places where imagination thrives quietly, without hurry or expectation. As we drift in thought across its frozen surface, we learn to appreciate subtlety, to find beauty in restraint, and to embrace wonder without urgency. Pluto becomes a gentle guide for contemplation, encouraging calm curiosity as we navigate our own inner landscapes. Tonight, as you imagine drifting past Pluto, picture the icy surface reflecting faint sunlight, the moons tracing their elegant arcs, and the silent expanse of the Kuiper Belt stretching beyond. Let the mind roam freely over frozen mountains, glowing plains, and shadowed valleys, tracing the rhythms of a world both distant and intimately familiar. In this quiet reflection, Pluto becomes more than a dwarf planet. It is a companion for thought, a spark for imagination, and a gentle presence in the meditative journey of the mind. Pluto in imagination teaches that the universe is not just a collection of facts, distances, and masses. It is also a landscape for stories, dreams, and quiet reflection. By envisioning its surface, tracing the paths of its moons, and contemplating its solitary orbit, we participate in a gentle, ongoing dialogue with the cosmos. Pluto invites curiosity without expectation, observation without judgment, and wonder without urgency. A perfect companion for the meditative journey into sleep and imagination. Beyond Pluto lies a quiet, frozen expanse, stretching farther than most minds can easily imagine. The Kuiper Belt, a vast ring of icy bodies, continues outward, each object tracing its elliptical path around the sun, distant and slow, yet full of hidden stories. Some are small and irregular, others large and mysterious, each a remnant of the early solar system. Contemplating this distant region encourages a sense of scale and perspective, a reminder that our planetary neighborhood is only a tiny fragment of the vast, intricate cosmos that surrounds us. The Kuiper Belt is home to worlds both familiar and strange. Eris, Haumea, and Makemake share the icy outskirts with Pluto, each a testament to the diversity of celestial forms. They move in their quiet orbits, almost imperceptible in their distance, yet each plays a role in the ongoing choreography of the solar system. Observing them, even in thought, invites reflection on the complexity and subtlety of cosmic patterns. Their presence reminds us that significance is not measured by visibility or proximity, but by persistence, motion, and the quiet influence exerted over time. Farther still lies the Oort cloud, a hypothetical shell of icy objects enveloping the solar system in three-dimensional vastness. It is a realm we have not yet reached, a distant frontier where comets may originate, traveling thousands of years to visit the inner planets. Imagining this cloud stretches the mind, evoking a sense of wonder, humility, and awe. Here, the universe feels infinite and calm, a meditation in motion where time and distance operate on scales beyond ordinary comprehension. Pluto, in comparison, feels like a welcoming companion, a familiar anchor amid these distant, frozen expanses. Looking beyond Pluto also invites contemplation of perspective. The solar system, with its planets, moons, and icy bodies, is a symphony of motion. Each orbit, each gravitational tug, contributes to a harmonious pattern that unfolds over millions and billions of years. Observing from Earth, from imagination, or from spacecraft like New Horizons, we witness only fragments of this rhythm. Yet even these glimpses inspire wonder and reflection, revealing a universe both ordered and mysterious, intimate and vast, quiet and dynamic all at once. The distant objects of the Kuiper Belt and Oort cloud carry lessons in patience. Their slow orbits and faint presence remind us that discovery is not always immediate, and understanding requires observation over long periods. Scientists wait years for data to return, while the objects themselves continue their silent paths, oblivious to human attention. In this interplay, we find a meditation on patience, curiosity, and the gentle unfolding of knowledge. Pluto, once the edge of known space, now serves as a threshold to this wider, less explored realm. Imagining these distant reaches can also be soothing. Picture drifting past Pluto, following its icy arc, then gliding outward toward the scattered objects of the Kuiper Belt. The sun's light is faint, yet it glimmers on frozen surfaces, tracing slow patterns across craters, plains, and ridges. Beyond, the Oort cloud waits, dark and distant, silent and unmoving, yet full of latent energy. This visualization evokes calm, emphasizing the stillness and expansiveness of the universe, a vast stage on which both planets and tiny icy bodies perform their quiet, timeless dance. Exploring these regions in thought is a meditation on scale and perspective. Earth feels small, yet alive, bathed in warmth and color. The planets march in their orbits, moons spin in their own dances, and dwarf planets like Pluto glide silently in the cold outskirts. Beyond, the Kuiper Belt and Oort cloud remind us that the universe contains countless worlds, each with its own orbit, trajectory, and story. The vastness can be intimidating, yet it also offers serenity, a sense of belonging to a cosmos that is orderly, rhythmic, and profoundly beautiful. This perspective also fosters humility. The edge of the solar system teaches that human understanding is limited, yet curiosity endures. Pluto, once celebrated as a planet and now cherished as a dwarf planet, marks the threshold of our knowledge, a stepping stone into the unknown. Beyond it lies not emptiness, but a field of possibility, waiting to be explored, imagined, and understood over centuries to come. In contemplating this space, one recognizes the patience, wonder, and perseverance inherent in both science and imagination. As you drift in thought tonight, let your mind follow Pluto outward, beyond its icy plains and spinning moons, past the distant companions of the Kuiper Belt, and toward the unseen reaches of the Oort cloud. Visualize the faint sunlight casting gentle reflections, the frozen bodies tracing slow arcs, and the immense quiet that envelopes them. Allow the mind to absorb the vastness, the calm, and the rhythm of the outer solar system, feeling both awe and serenity, curiosity and peace. Looking beyond Pluto is not just an exploration of space. It is an invitation to explore thought, imagination, and perspective. It teaches us patience, humility, and the gentle pleasure of wonder. The universe is expansive, intricate, and alive with motion, yet it also offers calm and reflection. Pluto, the distant dwarf planet, remains a guide and companion on this journey, reminding us that even the smallest, coldest worlds can illuminate our understanding, spark imagination, and encourage meditation. As our journey comes to a gentle close, let your mind linger on Pluto, the distant world that has captured both science and imagination. From its discovery by Clyde Tombaugh to its quiet reclassification as a dwarf planet, Pluto has traveled not only across the icy outskirts of the solar system, but also through the hearts and minds of those who look up at the night sky. It is a companion to curiosity, a reminder that even the smallest and farthest worlds hold profound significance. Pluto's story is a reflection of human exploration and understanding. Once celebrated as the ninth planet, It became a symbol of change when the International Astronomical Union redefined what it means to be a planet. Yet, in this redefinition, Pluto was not diminished. It found a new identity, a peaceful place among the dwarf planets, quietly orbiting the Sun, tracing its slow, deliberate path through the Kuiper Belt. Its moons dance gracefully around it, reminding us that connection and harmony exist even in the farthest corners of the solar system. Through imagination, art, literature, and storytelling, Pluto has remained a constant presence in our minds. It embodies the distant, the quiet, the mysterious, a friend who exists just out of reach, inviting reflection and meditation. Its heart-shaped plains, icy mountains, and orbiting companions continue to inspire awe, curiosity, and the gentle joy of discovery. Even in its smallness, Pluto teaches that significance is not measured by size, visibility, or classification, but by the wonder and contemplation it evokes. Our exploration of Pluto also reminds us of the vastness that lies beyond. The Kuiper Belt stretches outward, filled with icy remnants of the early solar system, and beyond that, the Oort cloud waits, silent and immense, a frontier of possibility. These distant regions, though largely unseen, carry lessons in patience, humility, and perspective. They encourage the mind to wander slowly, gently, as we drift across scales of time, distance, and imagination. In contemplating them, we find calm, reflection, and the soft rhythm of cosmic order. As you settle deeper into relaxation, picture yourself drifting past Pluto, past its moons tracing their graceful arcs, past icy companions scattered across the Kuiper Belt. Imagine the faint sunlight glinting on frozen plains, the shadows stretching across jagged mountains, and the vast, serene darkness surrounding it all. Let the quiet rhythm of orbital motion and the gentle pulse of the cosmos lull your thoughts into a calm, meditative state. If this journey to Pluto and beyond has sparked your curiosity or brought a sense of wonder, consider subscribing for more nightly explorations. Share your thoughts, or tell us about your favorite planet or celestial wonder in the comments below. Even as you drift into sleep, your imagination remains connected to these distant worlds, carrying the quiet joy of discovery into dreams. Now, allow your mind to float past Pluto and its companions, past the scattered icy worlds of the outer solar system, and into the deep, star-studded darkness beyond. Feel the vast expanse surrounding you, a universe both immense and intimate, silent yet alive. Let the quiet of space soothe your thoughts, the beauty of distant worlds calm your mind, and the slow, endless motion of planets and moons guide you gently toward rest. Pluto remains there, quietly orbiting, distant yet ever-present, a symbol of curiosity, resilience, and the enduring wonder of the cosmos. And as you drift deeper into sleep, carry with you the serene rhythm of this faraway world, the gentle pulse of its moons, and the endless, peaceful dance of the universe itself. Good night, and let the stars keep you company.